Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the force, a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we are covering Season 4, Episode 5, Alliances, and as always we begin by popping a recap. Valchek leaks details of the Braddock case to Carcetti, who contemplates how to best leak it to the press. The ensuing negative attention turns Royce against Burrell, who takes the heat while Rawls comes to the rescue. At school, Prez's reward/punishment program meets with mixed results, and Colvin looks to restore order by separating disruptive quote-unquote corner kids from more attentive quote-unquote stooped ones. His poster boy for the former, Namond. Chris tries to enlist Michael into Marlo's ranks, spooking Randy along the way. At the detail, Marimow sets up a series of street-level rips targeted at Marlo, but his subordinates in Perlman and Daniels are skeptical. Later, Herc and Signer plant a hidden camera at Marlo's meeting place with unexpected results. Burned by Omar, Marlo gets Chris and old-face Andre to frame his nemesis. Bubbles' efforts to keep Sherrod in school only get him humiliated. Angered by Royce's double-dealing, State Delegate Watkins decides to sit out the campaign, sending Carcetti and Wilson rushing to make their pitch. Although Bunk and Freeman come up empty in their body-hunting search, Dookie knows where the special dead might be hiding. The episode was written by Ed Burns and was directed by David Platt. This is his only episode that he directed, and I might as well just mention here that his showrunner David Simon praised Pratt's deft touch with the young actors in the scene where the boys discover a corpse in a vacant house. He has a house... Okay, that is not necessary. Yeah, I got it off Wikipedia. Sue me. Okay. The episode premiered on October 8th, 2006. All right, Ellie, why don't you bust out that epigraph for us?
If you're with us, you're with us. Said by Chris Partlow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ellie, if you with us, if you're with this podcast, you with us. And that goes for you too, listener.
Okay.
So, you with us, you with us. Okay, well, before we get into the episode, as always, we have to cover your predictions. You had one that you mentioned last time. Michael was sexually abused. Nothing about that.
Yeah.
I want to keep that one. We'll just keep that in every episode until we learn that or otherwise. Odell breaks from Royce. Boom.
Yes.
Got to be going with Carcetti and Marlo, taking Marlo with him. So you got that. Odell breaks from Royce. Good job. Kima will flounder with the case.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah, I mean...
No, didn't even get a chance.
Right. You know, I don't know. I kind of feel like you... I feel like you were on the right track with it, but... You know, I guess you were probably thinking she would start to investigate.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yes, I thought she'd start to at least get to investigate a little
fair
bit.
Enough, yeah.
To act like a homicide detective for a minute.
Right, okay. Marlo will begin looking for Omar to put a hit out on Omar. So this one I feel like you got right. Like not exactly, but he's scheming.
He is
doing some scheming.
Yeah.
So, Parlo and Snoop get a hold of Michael. Boom, got that. I mean, not obviously he's not hooked yet. He's not on the boat, but they definitely touched him.
No, he will be.
Bunk and Freeman will begin to look for Lex's body. Got that.
Yes.
Gosh, and will not find him. Also got that.
Yeah.
They will figure out where the bodies are boarded up. So no, have not figured out.
No.
Prez will come up with a new strategy and will make a little headway.
Yes.
You are, my God.
He did make some headway.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Maybe not our boys, you said, though, which I think
I think he does, actually.
Yeah, actually he does, yeah.
These boys.
Dennis, nothing new with Dennis. Even that, you got that right. Dennis does not show
sadly.
up. And then Colvin's program will start, which is there you go. So, and he's got a strategy. Good job. My
Not
God.
shabby.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Ooh.
7, 8
Wow.
out of 9.
Holy smokes.
That is good stuff. And these were not gimmies, so good job.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, with that, I think we just jump right. No commentary and not a ton on this particular episode from All the Pieces Matter.
Okay.
So we can just jump ahead.
Let's do it. I got Detention and Dead Bodies, a Repudiated Royce, Marimow's Busts, go bust. Marlo joins the co-op. Kima caught in the middle, and I'm going to finish up with some shame Sherrod.
Okay.
Ooh, Sherrod let me down in this one big time.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Well, let's start with the boys then. Detention and Dead Bodies. We've got the boys. We've got Dookie, Randy, Naaman, Michael, Donut, and one named Kennard. I feel like we've seen him before.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Believe it or not, he was in season 3. I forget which episode off the top of my head, but he was the kid playing Omar after the shootout in the street.
Oh, he's the one that's pretending to be him when
Yeah.
they are pretending. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Okay.
That was him. They cast him and like, we got to keep this kid around. So there you go.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and sorry, he was in season 1, or sorry, the first episode where he said Doogie hits fights like a bitch. That was him
right.
too. Yeah.
He's that kid. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, they're all talking about scary stuff. He saw Lex in an alley the previous night, and that Partlow is turning his victims into zombies. Randy says everyone knows he's dead. He doesn't like hearing that Lex is a zombie, but you can tell that there's a little in him that's kind of concerned and maybe believing it. They turn to Michael, the voice of reason. Michael says, I don't know if he's doing voodoo, but he must be doing something to convince the victims to enter a vacant building with him before he kills them, which is actually a really good point.
Yep.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
They then hear some gunshots. They're able to identify the caliber of the gun from the sounds that they hear. Really sad.
Yeah.
A little later, they hear sirens. They also hear or see a broken bottle. And then there is a man walking down the alley, and he's clearly on drugs, just kind of the way that he's, limping down. But it's enough to scare the crap out of them, and they run out of there.
Yep. Yeah, I think the only thing just to mention is, the combination of them talking about zombies and believing that people can turn into zombies compared to trying to identify the caliber of a gun when you hear fire. Like, it's just a really interesting, it's a beautiful dichotomy, right?
It is,
it's like,
yes.
Kids will believe all kinds of crap. I mean, just speaking personally, like I believed, my imagination, controlled me at times in ways that I didn't want to when I was in high school. And just like, why would I let my, do that? But that's kind of being a kid. And so it is.
But they're so entrenched in this grown up world, right, of violence, dealing with this, that they can identify the caliber of a gun and still believe that zombies could exist.
Yep. Yeah. And so, and of course, then they all run away when they hear some guy who's clearly not even a threat, to 4 like relatively, reasonably sized kids.
Yes.
So anyway, it's a great scene.
It is. It was really good. Well, Prez has a new behavior system for his math classes. He's got his big chart. He's going to award them with stickers on the chart for good behavior, and there's going to be a prize draw for the top 4 students. However, if you disrupt the class, your name goes on the board, and you have an hour's detention after school. And of course, Namond immediately interrupts the class. He ends up managing to talk Prez out of giving him detention. He's saying, that's not right. I didn't know the rules before you put me up there. So Prez says, okay, well, I guess that's fair. Takes him off. And then another student, Zenobia, she says she wants to do really well. She wants to get stickers, but she doesn't have a pencil. So Prez pulls from behind his ear his very own pencil and gives it to her.
Did not throw it at her head.
Did not throw it.
Like some people I
know.
know.
Yeah, somebody may have done that. But then she throws it down and says she doesn't want a welfare pencil, which immediately earns her detention.
Yeah.
And the kids are all in an uproar again.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
Yep. So I had to ask, what do you think of the system?
There's the positive stuff, good, but putting the names on the board is just, that's not good.
No?
No. It's just going to always be the same kids' names up there. Then they get stigmatized and everybody knows they're a bad kid. And no. We don't do that anymore.
Interesting. Okay.
No.
Is writing the name down somewhere? Like that. Remember how the guy was like freaking out when he was like when Parenti kept writing when they were in the interrogation room? Like, is that effective at all, or is that still that same kind of thing? Like,
I think it's the same kind of thing.
Because everybody knows that you're writing.
They know that you're writing it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm kind of fascinated though, because I feel like at the same time though, you know who the kids are, like who the corner kids are already in the class.
True.
So is it really doing extra damage by putting their name up there?
I think it's more for them seeing their name up there over and over again. Maybe that's the thing that kind of tears a kid down over time. That would be my guess. So yeah.
It's interesting because you'll talk about when Naaman talks to Prez later, so we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Okay. It's generally frowned upon in education now.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think also about Zenobia's reaction, right? And so, she's given the opportunity, okay, here's the thing that you're missing apparently.
Yes.
And then she freaks out about it. It's not about the pencil, right?
Yes.
It's about like, I don't know how to do the work or whatever, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
So, and that's
it's
what
not
she's,
about
and now she's got to she doesn't have any excuses anymore, and now she just gets pissed off about something else. So, and I think that we've hit on this a million times already, but a lot of these kids are just grown up in whatever.
Oh yeah.
They're not given the tools for emotional regulation.
Yes.
And so
yes.
they just go from, zero to fight or flight, essentially, right?
Right. Well, and later she says, too, that she didn't have lunch that day, right?
Yeah,
so that makes
Plus
you have emotional. If you're malnourished, you're not going to have, you're not going to develop the way that you need in all the ways you need to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, in the United States, there's there's a debate about school lunches. And I'm just like, hey, if you're I'm asking listeners, if you are a wealthy person, spend your money, give money to schools to give school lunches. Like, you will be a hero. There will be a statue outside of outside of the school that you get school lunches to. Like, tell me you don't want that.
It should just be automatic.
I mean, you would think, right?
We would think.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So anyway, all right. Enough. Sorry.
Okay.
This is gonna be a lot of tangents in this episode. I get the feeling.
For sure.
So, yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit past the part with Colvin and Parenti to just keep on with the detention here. Prez also gives Michael detention when he sees that he's not doing the work in the class, and even with some encouragement. Prez is saying, no, you could do this, this. But Michael does nothing. He just looks away, right? Mm-hmm. One student says then, nay, Mrs. Donnelly is shaking the bushes. They all get up and look out the windows. This is like when it snows around here and everybody gets up and looks out the window and you never get the class back. Anyways, Naaman's annoyed because Donnelly has found and taken a blade that belongs to him. Prez is trying to get them all to return to their work, and he is standing by Naaman, the one who's been the most distracting and the loudest throughout this whole process, and sees that Naaman says that he's doing his work. Why are you standing, so close to me? But he can see that he has not begun the assignment, so Naaman gets detention, and Naaman reacts by swearing at Presbo. He's super angry. Prez says, get out of my office, or sorry, get out of the classroom, get out. And as he's leaving, Naaman can't help himself and tells him, why don't you beat me with that police stick? I know you want to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the same kind of deal. So what I was wondering, though, is that, Prez isn't, you can't touch him.
Yeah.
So if Naaman didn't go, like, what's the next step?
This is the thing. You can't. This is like what I said before. You cannot say it unless you absolutely can say it with the sort of conviction that a kid is going to get up and go. Because the minute that they don't, you're never going to get him to do anything.
Right.
Yeah. You have to have that thing behind your voice. And in that moment, he does. Like, he's yelling, but he's super serious. I don't know. I guess he calls the office and tells Miss Donnelly to come get him.
Yeah.
That will probably be the next step,
right?
Which is already a sign of like a teacher that can't control my class.
Yeah, God, I mean, if you had the balls as a student to, I guess ultimately you just get expelled.
Yeah,
right. You're just like, okay, well, if you're not going to leave, then you're going to get suspended. If you don't go after that, then you're going to get expelled.
Right.
And then you actually will be forbidden from entering the school, pretty much. Period. So,
I
suppose that's the nuclear option that's out there. So.
That is.
Anyway, but just in that moment, I was like, boy, if Naaman really wanted to test this guy, he could.
Yeah, he could have.
So, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So let's see here. We go now to Colvin, who is explaining his theory about the two kinds of kids that they have in the school, stoop kids and corner kids. And Miss Sampson gets it really quickly. Like the stoop kids are the ones that stay. They do what you tell them to do. The corner kids are as soon as they're out of school, they're going to be down in the corner selling drugs. And Parenti quickly points out that this idea is pretty much tracking, which by that time was really frowned upon in education as well. I think that's the thing that happened when you and I were kids, probably, in math, they had the kind of the hares and the tortoises. And, I don't know if you remember any of that. Oh,
I don't think so.
Or like the A group and the B group and the C group. So it was like ability tracking. And it still happens a little bit to some extent. I mean, definitely in high school, of course, that makes more sense. But even in elementary, we'll have sometimes the kids who struggle more get pulled together in a particular class. So the thing is, Colvin says, well, what's the point? They think that they're teaching all the kids. They're not teaching all the kids. So why don't we make it so that the stoop kids can be in a class without disruptions, and then we take the corner kids and we give them the programming. They say, oh, won't they be stigmatized for being pulled out of class? They're already getting, as we saw with Naaman, getting booted out of class.
Yeah.
That's already stigmatization there. And Sampson says, hey, we can pretty easily identify the corner kids. And so let's do it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the notion of tracking. It never really resonated with me, but it is. I think the interesting thing that I took away is it's not based on academic. How do I say this? I don't know that it's based on. Originally it might have been based on academic performance, and this is about behavioral kind of ability, essentially, and emotional regulation and things like that. So that part, I feel like that's where these guys, I feel like, have an in, is like, look, we're not trying to deal with these kids about and trying to teach them a curriculum in a different way. It's about making sure that they're getting this other part of the education that they haven't gotten yet. You know what I mean? And so, but you know, when he labels it as tracking, it's just like, you know, it just feels like, well, that, you know, you already have this reputation essentially. You know, so anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I happen to be somebody that, I think I've said this before on this very podcast, which is like, if you try something once and it doesn't work, doesn't mean that it's gone forever. It's just like, you know, take a different approach. You might have the initial idea right, but the execution was wrong. And so it sounds like this is, you know, they're approaching it a different way anyway. So, when you were a teacher, I imagine the term tracking was a dirty word. And so was there anything that you guys did that was kind of in that vein at all, where you were trying to approach it in, like, where you were trying to optimize a little bit more for the different levels of kids, not academically, but, you know, otherwise?
No, I would say, I mean, there were times when we were like making sections of kids and we would think about to like, oh, this kid is really outspoken or a leader, or this kid is, you know, or whatever. I tried to spread the wealth a little bit. So kind of maybe even in the opposite direction, but constructing classes in a way for, you know, to make sure that the classroom dynamics were good. But yeah, not any other. The other direction so much. All right. Yeah. Although I take that back. Actually, I can think of a couple times when we're like, well, when is a support person available? And it might have been down to that, where we would have to put some more of them in a class.
Interesting.
You know, kids that struggled more with the concept in a class, because we knew that's when support would be available. So,
Interesting. And I'll just mention one other thing that, like, to me, I felt like there was a little bit of parallel between Carver and Miss Sampson, because Miss Sampson has her ear to the ground. She knows everything that is going on, and she can just immediately pick out people.
She is the school Carver.
Not a life lesson, but if you can be that person, you are in good shape.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Well, after the meeting, they come across Naaman in the halls, and he swears at Parenti. I think he says something like, the F you are looking at. And don't worry, Miss Sampson is always there. She is always there, and tells him, if you weren't heading to the main office before, you are now. Boy, they shape up real quick around Miss Sampson. I love it. Okay.
I do too. Like,
yes.
If you were talking
heck yeah.
Sit up a little bit. Yes, Miss Sampson.
Okay, well, Press's detention after school is packed. There's a kid in every single desk, and he is taking roll, calls on Michael, but no Michael there. Everybody wants to go. Everybody is complaining. They say, my mom's going to wonder where I am. Zenobia says, I'm starving. She promises to never disrespect his pencil again. I love it so much. Eventually, Press gives in, and he lets them leave early. Says, next time you're doing the full hour. But he can't even get it out. They're all just leaving. They're out the door. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, so that's the new approach. And I'm curious to know how is he able to unilaterally assign detention? That part I don't get. But,
that's a good question.
You know, but otherwise,
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's I could just totally identify with that. I don't know that I'd be like, God, you guys fine. Just get out.
I don't have to listen to this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, though. It'll be interesting to see, like, you know, how if he has detention again, like, what does he? How does he get them to not leave? It's like,
I know,
you let us leave last time.
Well, I love in this next part too. So so at the end of when he sends everybody out, Randy, Dookie, and Naaman come back. Naaman does apologize. You know, he says, I didn't mean to have an outburst like that. Basically, Press appreciates the apology. He says, I seen what you're like in Miss Sampson's class. Why can't you be like that here? I love his answer. He's just kind of like, once I get the evil in me, you know, it's just all bets are off. And Press says, well, okay, maybe you can do better tomorrow. But no, he has been suspended by Miss Donnelly for 3 days. He leaves. Prez asks Randy if he could wait outside, but Dookie says it's okay. And Prez gives Dookie a bag of, I'm guessing, clothing and
Yeah, that's what I thought.
supplies. Yeah. And Randy looks down at the roster. He says that Michael's name is circled on it, and he tries to explain to Prez that Michael cannot make it to detention. Prez says, yeah, well, now he'll have double detention. But Randy explains that it is because he has to pick up his brother Bug from school. And Dookie says, his mother is on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here?
Came to say sorry. I didn't mean to get all up in your face like that.
I appreciate that, Naaman. It takes courage to admit when you're wrong. What I can't understand, I've seen you in Miss Sampson's class doing your work. Why can't you do the same in here?
I mean to, I do. When it's just the evil getting me, and before I know it, I go off.
Well, tomorrow we'll see if we can't do better.
Can't tomorrow. It's D put me out. I got a bump. Later, Mr. P.
If you can wait outside.
It's okay, he can stay. Thank
Mr. P, you know Michael can't make it to detention.
I know he didn't. Now it's doubled. He's got 2 days to serve.
Nah, I mean, he can't. He gotta go pick up his little brother from school.
Well, he'll just have to find somebody else to do that.
It ain't like that. I mean, Michael would come if he could, but wouldn't have nobody else to pick up his little brother Bug. And, his mother, she on that stuff.
So Prez is leaving with Dookie and Randy. They see Donut sitting outside on their way out. Love Donut. Donut's waiting on his friend Alpo, who has detention. I know, who has detention with Mrs. Sampson, and he's going to be there for the full hour. She never lets students out early. So Prez has this look on his face like, I kind of got played, didn't I? And he makes some conversation with the boys. He's asking what they want to do one day. NFL. Randy wants to have a store. It's really sweet. Prez can't find his keys, and Dookie sees that they're in his car. So Randy has Donut break into Prez's car for him.
Yeah.
He does it very quickly, pulls out his, his Jimmy for the lock.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, Chief, he tells him. I love it. It's so cute. Donut is just such a funny guy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that smile he has on his face when he's like so proud of opening the door.
He's darling.
Yeah.
Little crazy guy.
Yeah, and I love the conversation that Prez had. I don't know, it is if there's one thing that we didn't see exactly is Naaman. Like, I don't know that Prez earned an apology from Naaman. You know what I mean? Like, what was the change? But nevertheless, like, Dookie had to go back to the class.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and when Naaman's not in the crowd, he just kind of reverts back to this more respectful kind of kid or whatever. And then, and so, and then at some point, Randy and Dookie seem to bond with Prez in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that, sorry, one other thing that I really liked about the conversation when Naaman apologizes, Prez says, well, we'll do better tomorrow or whatever. And I don't know, I like that little gesture. It's like, we are working on this together.
Right.
I don't know, I feel like it would work on me as like, you're not in this by yourself. We'll figure out what works for us. So anyway, and then I just like the conversation, how he like was entertaining the guys, okay, so you want to be in the NBA or you want to be in the NFL, and he was opened up this other opportunity to learn a little bit more about Randy. So it's pretty neat.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah. Sorry, but I got to ask, like, did you have experiences like that with your students?
Well, nobody ever broke into my car for me.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Probably a good thing.
No,
probably
but
generally
I often had kids that would come and hang out after school for a little while I was, grading papers or cleaning up and just chit chat with them and get to know them a little better. And yeah, for sure. I loved that and getting that inside.
I bet that was rewarding.
It was very rewarding.
Well then.
It was. Those are some of the things you remember
Sure,
a long time after. Yeah. Okay, well, we got Dookie and Randy. They're working on something. Was it a pigeon trap or something?
I think that must have been what it was. I wasn't sure, actually.
They've got like election signs that are rolled up.
Yeah, exactly.
And, Dookie's talking about needing balsa wood. Anyways, Naaman and Michael are there too. And just about as Nay's about to make an annoying comment, they, the zombie master, Chris Bartlow, walks up, and Snoop. They want to talk to Michael. But Michael says, he's good. Nope, don't need to talk to you. So then they kind of send the others away so they can talk to Michael alone. As Naaman's leaving, he says, Snoop, your sister's in my class.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what she says. So she's just like, you crazy? Or
Yeah, she's like, what are you, high?
Yeah, what are you, high?
Yeah.
Like, it is so funny, her reaction.
It is hilarious. And I don't understand, like, did he really think that? Or like, did she actually have a sister? I don't know.
I don't know if it's
she does,
that or just like, do you think you could just talk to me like this?
Maybe,
You
yeah,
know,
that's
like,
probably it.
What
Yeah,
is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Anyhow, so Chris is offering Michael a position in Marlo's crew. They say, we've heard you're straight up. You take care of your people, no begging. And he doesn't say anything. And Snoop gets mad that he's not responding. He's like, he's giving you compliments, but Marlo has to tell her to chill. Michael turns down the offer because of his family, but Chris gives him cash, asks him to consider it anyway, kind of says, we'll be your family, we'll take care of you. Michael returns to his friends. Randy, this whole time, is super anxious. He thinks that Chris is there because of what he knows about Lex's death. And Michael plays with him for a minute, letting him believe that Chris was asking all these questions about him. He's freaking out. And then he says he didn't even mention you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, my gosh, Michael. I hate this for Michael. I hate this so much for Michael.
Yeah.
Zombie master.
You take us for a walk.
Nah, I'm good here.
Yo, young as you move along.
Sure, Chris, we'll bump. Oh, Snoop, your sister in my class.
Fuck, you high or something, nigga?
You always be smoking that shit? Hearing good things about you. So you straight up, take care of your people. Not begging no handouts.
Motherfucker, you hear the nigga talk to you, giving you praises and shit. You standing here looking fucking stupid.
Yo, chill. Sometimes she get a little hot.
I'm just saying, the boy, you ain't right.
Look, we always in the market for a good soldier. You see one we like, we take care of the situation. Take him in, school him, make him family. And if you with us, you with us. Just like we be with you all the way. You have a mind, you're in.
Look, man, I already got a family. My mom's and my little brother.
Yeah, heard that. But think on it. We be around, you need something.
I mean, that's the...
I don't want him to turn into a Partlow. Ugh.
I know, that's the... it's the part that's like the scariest. Like, you have these vulnerable kids, and when you have a vulnerable kid, then someone's liable to take advantage. So
Indeed.
Yeah. So I'll mention here that there's this whole... I think it's like a supercut of all with the wire tautology, so it's like, for example, if you with us, you with us. Oh, yeah. Where you just repeat the phrase. Yeah. And so I have to find it, and we'll just link to it off our socials. But like, because the other one is like McNulty says, I think in the last episode, or 2 episodes ago, is like, sometimes it is what it is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing. So they do that as a nice little, I guess it's like, what's the word? A little tool in the tool chest that they like to pull out every couple of episodes.
Yeah,
like. So,
yeah.
And then, but then, as you said, the weight that Randy is carrying, from
and
I think
freaking out.
Yeah, just like from episode 1, where you're just like, he had no idea that this was happening. He just did what Kevin asked him to do for $5,
right?
And yet now he's, the cost that is on him right now is just, I mean, you can't even measure it. It's just like, he just thinks about it all the time. And we've seen it we'll see it a couple more times in this episode. It's just brutal. Yep. So, you really, really feel bad for him. And meanwhile, Michael is he's trying to stay on the straight, but, money's money.
Exactly. They are not relenting.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. The next day, Prez meets with Michael during lunch. So he has some kids in there eating lunch in his room and tells him it's his responsibility to let him know if he can't make it to the detention. So Michael seems cool with that. Then he calls Dookie over and tells him, I packed too much lunch. Can you help me with this? Gives him some food, which Dookie eats rapidly, and then gives him a little money and a hall pass and tells him to go get something to drink from the cafeteria. When Dookie leaves, he calls over Crystal and asks about why Dookie's not wearing the new clothes that he gave him. And she tells Prez, maybe he lost them. No, actually, his family takes the clothes and sells them for drug money.
Yeah.
So, Dookie.
Yeah, poor Dookie. Yeah, and then I had to correct myself. We gave Crystal the killer cameo from, I think, from episode 2. And I forgot that she was in this episode.
Okay,
but I don't care. I don't care. She still earned it.
She's, she, even the way that she says this, like about, his family stealing the clothes, like the look on her face, she's like too old for her age, like, oh yeah, that's what happens, there's like kind of this knowingness to her that she shouldn't know those sorts of things.
Right. And she has enough sense to be discreet about it,
yes,
right? I mean,
exactly.
it's like, a kid that's younger or whatever that doesn't have that kind of self-awareness would be like not keeping that a secret even though everybody knows, right? She doesn't want to be the kind of person that is sort of, broadcasting that kind of thing. So it's a really, and of course, like the other part, I didn't really pick up on this before, but if you look at Dookie's sleeves, they're like just filthy.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And so, it's just one of those things where I think after the 150th time, I'm just like, oh, that's right. This is where they talk about the clothes. And then I notice that he's still wearing these dirty clothes. So I don't know. And then, we'll talk about Sherrod, but I imagine that Dookie probably sleeps in those clothes. I would have to believe, right? Like, so and I think it all kinds of, it feels like a piece, right? Like, we don't know exactly Michael's real situation. We saw a little bit last time.
Yeah.
We don't know, Zenobia's situation, but, but we haven't seen Dookie's directly. Again, we've seen kind of like, little glimpses here and there, but it all kind of feels like it fits together. And what's interesting, I think, when you consider all those things is you have very different reactions. And then you have like Naaman, right? So Naaman, we've seen, fairly extensively his experience, and he is also, acting out, even though he's got all of his needs are taken care of. So it's really quite fascinating.
It is.
So, and I guess it just goes to show that like, you can't really expect, well, he grew up this way and therefore he should be this way. It's like, well, everybody's got their own, all the variables that play a role. And so, it's, that part's interesting. And it, I think as you picked out before, it's like, Michael might not have the best home life, but he seems to be a decent person, and you want him to stay a decent person. Indeed. And so, anyway, but who knows, how much effort it will take to kind of push somebody over the edge. So.
Right. Okay. Well, Colvin is meeting with Principal Withers to discuss their proposal, and Withers says, "Okay, well, you got what you need from me. I support you." But he has to go very quickly because he's got to go handle situation. Kids who are fighting because they're basically bringing in an argument their moms had from outside school. Before he goes, though, he does thank them and says, this is the only time anyone in this system is going to remember to thank you for what you're doing. And when he leaves, Donnelly says to Colvin that he better protect Withers. Any bad outcomes with this program will inevitably be blamed on him. And Colvin picks up on that quickly. Donnelly tells them that they have 256 eighth graders on the roll, 241 that actually come to school, and of that 40 that fit the bill of corner kids, but that they should probably start with 10 children.
Yeah. Donnelly's knowing smile, I thought was pretty,
Yes. So that is, we don't know what happens beyond that. That's kind of the end of what happens with Colvin and Parenti, but not the end of what happens with the boys. So.
Which brings me to what we're proposing. Different kids, different approaches.
Tell us who we need to touch at North Avenue to get the go-ahead.
Puzzle Palace? Look, if you all still want to jump in and help, I'm fine with it. That's about all the okay you need in my house.
The Stricker Street situation is waiting in the office.
Neighborhood squabbles, and my baby's bringing in here. 2 fights yesterday. All because the mothers can't get along. I gotta go. Mrs. Donnelly will work out the nuts and bolts. But just so you hear it, thank you. It'll be the only time anyone in the system will think to say it.
He's a good man. You need to protect him.
Protect him?
Principal Withers just went out on a limb for you. And in this system, they know how to handle a chainsaw.
Excuse me? Anyone has a problem with what we're doing, it's on him.
So, you specified 8th graders? We have 256 on roll, 241 attend on a regular basis. Of those, 40 or so would fit your bill of corner kids.
40. Be workable. What would you suggest?
Start with 10 or so. Miss Sampson has enough to get you going.
One of them named Name and Bryce.
Pick of the litter. But you have to wait. He's on a 3-day suspension.
Shall I continue?
I think that just Donnelly's line in this district, or in this system, they know how to work a chainsaw.
Yeah.
That's what a great line that is.
That is a great line.
Just really appreciate that.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I think that, again, like I like the idea, Principal Withers being, just solution oriented. Look,
yes.
I don't, you're offering something, you're trying something out. I'm for it.
Right.
Just, try to keep the the noise to a minimum or whatever,
Exactly.
try not to fuck up too badly, basically.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Things can't get much worse.
Yeah. And I don't know how much this, like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I guess how much, like, this is, I'm over-indexing, I guess. But, I like how he calls the girls that are the Stricker Street situation. And he's like, my babies bring the fight here because their mothers can't. And I feel like there's he just has a lot of love for these kids.
Yes.
Right? It's just like he wants them to be able to come to school in peace, but they can't, and he's not frustrated necessarily with them. It's just more about the fact that they are affected by their parents. So it's just kind of
yes.
I don't know. I really love that line. And just
my
really
babies bring it in. Bring it in here.
Yeah. When you have an educator that really cares about the kids, your heart goes out to them because you know that they're doing God's work.
For sure. Okay, well, let's see here. Okay, Randy, he's keeping his business going, selling his candy, leaving class to do so. And then he is asked, I hate this part so much. He is asked by another boy, same grade as him, if he will keep watching the hallway for, I think he gives him $5 to watch the hallway so that he and his friend can go get it on with Tiff in the bathroom. And you see in the background the other guy, Paul and Tiff, kind of standing there with their arms crossed. It's so weird.
It is.
Randy doesn't really want to, but he accepts the money. He does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Randy, the things you do for $5
Seriously,
is not
$5.
good.
Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. These two boys are going to go into the bathroom with this one girl. Okay.
I'm all the words want to come out at once. So I think it better just be like, it's just awful.
It's so awful.
Yeah.
Okay. After school, Randy is talking to Dookie about, his worries that Chris is going to come for him next, that he knows about what happened to Lex. He confesses this to Dookie, and Dookie tries to reassure him and say, hey, that's not what's going on. He's taking him in there and he's killing them. And then he says, I know this because I saw somebody get killed in there from my bedroom window.
Mm-hmm.
So then Dookie takes Michael and Randy up to one of the vacant buildings that Chris has used before, and over to a body that is laying under a plastic sheet. They remark on the smell, and Randy kneels down and looks and can see, okay, what Chris is doing is killing people.
Mm-hmm.
They are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I hate this. These boys are looking at dead bodies.
Yep. Yeah, and almost not unaffected.
And unaffected.
Yeah.
To be relieved by the sight of a dead body.
Yeah.
That is some messed up shit.
Yeah.
I mean to laugh at you now. I know it sounds crazy, but I ain't joking. For real, Lex is on me. I know way before what Nana was saying. Listen, they had me tell Lex to go up to the playground. I told him to go up there and see some girl. And he ain't never come back down. What they gonna do to me when they get mad at me? It makes sense Chris taking them into the vacants to change them. You know what else?
That ain't what he doing. Chris and the vacants. Changing them. He ain't changed them, he killing them. That's all, they're getting killed.
How you know?
Can't tell nobody. I seen it. I seen him walk a boy up into one house over there on Calhoun.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So want to back up just a little bit
Okay.
and say, like, the scene between Randy and Dookie
Yeah.
is just incredible acting.
I know.
Like, I can't believe
I
these kids were
know.
like 14.
It's incredible.
Like, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it. There's
Yep.
not much else to say.
Yep.
I mean, just we watch it again. It's just like,
Yep.
my God. And so, and I think it's the same kind of thing you mentioned with Crystal. It's like, just, they're just carrying so much weight, and just by existing in this area, it's just crazy. And then, so there's that. I liked how Dookie said, you're not going to need that to Michael. He's got a bat.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
so, even though Michael is the one who identified the gun at the very
Yes.
beginning, he's carrying a bat just in case there's a
Just
zombie
in
there.
case.
So that was pretty funny. And then I didn't quite understand if there was like a metaphor with the flashlight. I didn't know. I didn't
Oh.
understand what that was about. Like why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they just wanted as much light as possible,
Right.
and it just didn't. But of course, it just wasn't working and whatever. And
Yeah.
Dookie is like, don't. I think he was the one who said, don't turn it off. The bulb might have got too hot. Whereas Randy wanted to keep the light on.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah.
And then finally, I think I don't know if we can know this, but I'm wondering if this is the guy from the first episode of the season.
I wondered that.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, that is what I wondered.
Okay,
too.
because you have the tarp,
Yeah.
and they said we're running out of quicklime, and he'll
Yeah.
stink us all.
Yes.
So my guess is it probably
Yes,
is.
because
And
the
it
boys
looked-
remark on
yeah.
the smell. Yeah.
And it looked similar enough. You only see it
Yeah.
for a second, but I
Right.
felt like it was like the guy had long.
That
long
was
hair.
kind of my feeling too.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just kind of it just kind of ties together a little bit. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So but as you said, like it's just it's very somber. That's why I kept the line in about David Platt, the director, because
Yeah.
I do really feel like when you see it and you're like, oh yeah, it really does feel like they treat it with the right. I don't know. They just they treated the scene, I think, with the right level of feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the kids had some level of sadness or whatever, but as you said, there's also relief, and it's hard to play it like that. And again, these kids. I mean, this is just where I think this is. I said to Ellie before we started recording that like I hate this episode. Like there's so much in this episode where I'm like, I hate that part. Oh, I hate that part. I hate that part. And yet, this is just like where you see these actors performing in such a way where you're like, oh my God, this is just unbelievable.
It is.
It's just okay. I've gone on.
Compelling.
Yeah, really compelling stuff. So okay, that's all I got.
All right. Well, one more thing on the boys here before we move on. We have Naaman visit his father, Weebay, with mom, Delonda. And Delonda says, you need to talk to Naaman because we know Naaman got suspended.
Yep.
So Weebay talks to Naaman about, they're talking about a lot of different things, but they are talking a bit about what happened with Bodhi, and Naaman would like to believe he would not have made the same choice. And Weebay kind of says, the days of the Barksdales are over, the way that we used to conduct business, and, what your word was your bond at that time, that is not how things are anymore. And that, if they were, somebody like Marlo would be dead for breaking those rules. So yeah, it's interesting to see Weebay giving this kind of like fatherly advice.
Yeah.
And to actually care about his kiddo. I like too, there's like a moment where he says, oh, you think you would be different, huh? You think you would react differently? Well, maybe not. Yeah.
He ain't nothing but a skanky ass bitch to begin with. And besides, he ex-police, so you know what that like.
I'm going to the ladies' room. Babe, you need to talk to him.
Yo, Daddy, don't even go there. With you all the time telling me how you dropped out in the 6th grade, went up on the corner with Ava on the string, earned cheese for the family, saying how I made you a man.
All right, you right. Can't throw rocks, but I'm just saying. You know how your mother be. With all the fussing, maybe you just need to slow it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Oh, you heard how Marlo punked Bodie? Said he either gotta work for him or give up his corner. Don't you know his sorry ass bubble?
Oh, you'd have gone about it different?
Yeah, I just did tall, like you. Got my 9, fuck Chris and them.
Listen to you, all spit and fire. You'd have gone to the mattress all by your lonesome and went up against half of the West Side. You got it where it counts, and I respect that more than anything. But shit out there now ain't like it was when we was coming up. Back in the day, punk nigga like Marlo steps out, breaking the rules and shit. He find himself in the back of a car trunk on the way to Lincoln Park. No doubt, we did that shit right. Word was your bond, man looked out for his own, knowing he and the family. They weren't coming from, but today, it's all fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the interesting part about that is he's obviously, I just don't think he actually believes that Naaman would stand tall.
Yeah.
So it's curious that he is kind of propping him up a little bit, you know what I mean?
Agree,
It's
yeah.
Like, oh, it's you all spitting fire. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Spitfire.
and yeah, I mean, it's like, Naaman knows the right word to say.
Yes.
But, and Weebay sort of acknowledges it, but at the same time, Weebo's got to be looking at this like, if you did that, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do it? Why would you do something like that? So, I think that there's something interesting too in what he's saying also about how back then Marlo would have been taken care of already.
Right.
But now it's curious to know like what Prop Joe has sort of said like, look, we don't need all this violence.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's affecting his business, or Marlo's allowed to spread out, I guess. I don't know. So I don't exactly know why it's different now. Like one guy's playing by one set of rules, like doesn't that mean that everybody has to play by that set of rules, kind of thing? So it's a little curious about that. So, but otherwise, yeah. I love all the scenes with Weebay in it, so it's worth to hear him talk about that.
It is, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I also didn't like in that scene where he's like, got my 9. So, like, probably his dad gave him a gun and, like, gives him full whatever to go do what he needs with it.
Sure.
I'll go fuck him up.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even say, like, oh, no, that's not a good idea.
Right.
He's like, oh, look
exactly.
at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
yeah,
at
yeah,
you
yeah.
all spitfire.
Yeah.
God. All right. I mean, there's some good fatherly advice in there, but there are some other parts that are not so great. Okay.
Is there good advice?
I don't know. Like, I think like the part where he's like, you think that you would have chosen differently.
Right.
Is kind of a little bit like make yourself be humble.
Yeah.
So I guess that part was okay.
Yeah.
We're also saying, he's, like a man looked out for his own.
Right.
For
Yeah.
his family.
Absolutely. That
like
for
that,
sure. Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
This felt like some good fatherly advice.
Yeah. Word is your bond. Yeah.
Word is your
sure.
bond. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think he was talking about, Naaman was saying how Weebay dropped out of school at 6th grade.
Yeah.
And started working with Avon, and and Weebay wasn't trying to defend himself, which is kind of which is a curious choice.
I know,
right?
that's
I mean,
true.
you would think that he would
he says
want...
instead, you know how your mom is.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's why school's important.
Yeah, I mean,
you know how your mom is.
So it is funny to think about, like, Weebay, maybe he doesn't see another path. So he's like, yeah, well, about 6th grade is when I dropped out. So anyway.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get to Royce.
Okay.
Repudiated Royce. Val checks in Carcetti's campaign office, and he is giving Carcetti, D'Agostino, and Wilson the news that the really good, really experienced cop that was on the murdered witness case, the Braddock case, was replaced with a rookie, a broad no less. Oh, not a broad. Valchek offers his undying support yet again to Carcetti, anything you need, big wink right there. Wilson says something like, oh, he's a piece of work. And Carcetti tells him it goes with the territory. You get in there, you got to make friends with whatever Irish or Polak commander they have put in.
Mm-hmm.
They quickly come to the decision that the mayor doesn't know about this, or the conclusion that the mayor doesn't know about it. And they assume it was Burrell's idea to do this. Wilson suggests that they actually give the story to Councilman Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And this then allows them to stay out of the line of fire and gives Gray's campaign a boost. So if they increase Gray's numbers, they further divide the black vote, I guess. And that is what will help them ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the plan there.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I mean, I just like that particular approach. I think Norman... whereas before he felt like he was mostly comic relief. Now he's really this episode is his like where he's like taking off
devious
and really
mother-effer.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. We move into next kind of this back and forth between Royce and Carcetti's situations. So we see Carcetti is out. He's campaigning hard. He's giving out flyers, shaking hands outside a supermarket. Royce, in the meanwhile, is shaving off his beard, going for a younger look, thanks to that pretty motherfucker he's going to deal with. Get his fighting shape or something like that. Yep. Anyhow, meanwhile... Wilson Wilson reports that Gray has accepted their offer for a meeting. We see Royce show Parker his new look. Parker approves, says he looks like he did in '98 when you surprised them all. Wilson then meets with Gray, and Gray says, why don't you stick it to Royce yourself? Why don't you take this and run with it? And they say, this is just going to seem like more of the same from the same candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And Wilson tells Gray, look, at this point, you are clearly not going to win. So let's instead help you bring up your percentage points. And that helps you look good for potentially a legislative seat.
Yep.
So it's a good strategy.
Yep.
Looks like it would be good for Gray as well. And then we move into Royce having a meeting about campaign strategy with his guys. Parker comes in, turns on the TV, and what do we see? Gray is on the news talking about the change of investigator on the Braddock case. There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
This amid allegations that high-ranking police officials intervened to have a veteran police detective removed from the controversial case. The Braddock murder became a focal point in the mayoral campaign when Councilman Thomas Carcetti alleged the West Baltimore man was killed because he was a witness in the case.
Because they were afraid that the police would prove what they most feared, that Fredro Braddock was murdered because he was a witness and the city failed to protect him.
It's on all 3 channels. And the Sun and the Post are both calling for comment.
And my sources within the department say that rank and file officers are simply appalled by this blatant political manipulation.
Damn, turn it up.
Hey, Greg.
The new standard operating procedure
Famous.
for law enforcement is to remove a highly decorated veteran, 15 years experience as a murder investigator without reason.
That'd be me.
Then replaced with a rookie who has yet to handle a single homicide investigation.
That'd be you.
Then we need to rethink the best
The
practices.
fuck ever do that?
Yeah, I really appreciate Norman's approach. Like he goes in not trying to make it sound like basically saying here's the only path forward for you. If you leave this on the table, here's what else you're leaving on the table.
Yeah.
So you're gonna help us out, but you're also gonna help yourself
real
out.
with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I appreciate that. And then it all blows up for Royce. So
yes. It is interesting too. Gray just not Gray, but Royce shaving off his beard and like all the things that he's like doing to have this younger, fresher look.
Yeah.
Right. So he looks like a little bit like the candidate he was when you first saw him and first believed in him and his what he was going to do for office.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I like you mentioned this before about like the different situations, right? Carcetti's out there meeting people, talking to people, and Royce is by himself in the bathroom.
Yes.
It really drives the point home, like where they're, they're thinking
they're
about this.
on,
And I think it feeds into what Watkins says later.
Yep. Well, Royce is giving it to Burrell about this new problem now. And, he's wondering, well, what can I expect for the last week of my re-election campaign? What's going to happen next? He starts listing his issues with Burrell. There's Amsterdam. There were these subpoenas. There was a leak about the witness. And now scuttling the investigation. Parker's right on his tail with all of these things. And even though he himself said he wanted Burrell to slow things down, Burrell points this out. He said, well, I didn't want you to do this. Royce tells Burrell ultimately to get out of his office.
Yep.
And then once Burrell is gone, Royce talks to Rawls. He starts questioning him, and Rawls says, look, I'm loyal to Burrell. This guy's under a lot of pressure, but he's a good guy. I did know he was making a mistake, though. I knew that if this other stuff got leaked, this would be leaked too. And he tells us that he could handle the pressure of this position. Royce says, hey, make this go away, and I will not forget what you have done for me. So my guess is that he is alluding to the fact that he would potentially make Rawls the commissioner instead of Burrell.
I tried to warn him. I mean, if it leaked out a homicide about the dead witness, why wouldn't it leak that we bumped a detective?
Why didn't you come to us beforehand?
I'm a loyal subordinate, Mr. Mayor. And Irvin is a good man, working under considerable pressure.
He's a hack. And you're not bothered by the pressure, Deputy?
Not in the least.
I need you to make this go away, Bill. I won't forget. Believe me.
That's my guess.
Okay.
But there you go.
Okay.
Ugh.
Maybe I'll write that down.
Okay.
I think the only thing I want to mention out of this, so, Rawls, I feel like played it right in that, like, he just sat there. I think he makes eye contact with Parker at one point, and I think that's what he just kind of, and I don't know, there's some kind of exchange in that, nonverbal exchange.
Okay.
And I think that's why Royce keeps him behind. I mean, or maybe that's where they were heading to begin with, is
right.
Like Parker was like just trying to pile on, and then, we got to figure out something. So keep Rawls around so that we can actually figure out a way out of this.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. And then I just thought it was interesting that Rawls, at the end of season 3, when he's talking about Colvin, says that, a district commander under considerable pressure, like, basically couldn't handle it, and this is what happens. And he was using that as essentially an attack, and here he's using it as defense, and it just really bugs me to, like, they use the same term, one to bury a guy, and the other one to try to protect him. It's just like, you son of a bitch.
That's a really good point, Chris. Yeah.
I try. I do my best.
Occasionally.
But Rawls, I mean, in this episode, Rawls is just like the kiss motherfucker.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Especially when you see him talking to Carcetti later.
Yeah,
but more on that.
Yeah, and we talked about this before. I think we talked about this in season 3. It's like, people will fill the space.
Yeah.
So when Roy said slow it down, that was as specific as he got, primarily because he didn't want to know how that was going to get slowed down.
Right.
But he didn't think that it was going to be this, and he
Yeah.
also didn't think it was going to get leaked, which is B. So,
well, yes.
and of course, he just kind of lost all kinds of direction, and in a weird way, like Royce is the one under pressure as well that is kind of losing his way. So
Indeed.
So, okay.
I'm saying indeed a lot today. I'm sorry about
That's
that.
okay. It's fine.
Work on it.
I mean, I took you off course right away. So yeah, there you go. Plus, it's Omar's line, so it's good. You're never gonna hear a complaint from me about saying that. So.
All right. Royce is seen drinking whiskey. Poor Royce, drinking whiskey in his office and meeting with Delegate Watkins. He's saying he's going to get rid of Burrell after the election. And Watkins says, what are you talking about? Like, you are the one that told him to slow it down. This is your fault that this happened. Royce says, well, that's not what I wanted him to do. Well, nobody knows what you mean anymore. And then he points out the fact that, he brings out that campaign flyer that he had from the last episode, which shows support for both Marla Daniels in one case and Unetta Perkins in another, depending on what district you're in. And he says, you told me that you would support Daniels. You broke your word to me. Royce says, I didn't know that happened. It's got to be somebody on Perkins' ticket who did that. Watkins says, I don't think so. It says endorsed by a Citizens for Royce group. That's definitely something that you know about.
Mm-hmm.
And Watkins continues talking about everything that's going wrong with Royce lately, saying that he's in bed with every property developer and corrupt politicians like Clay Davis. And he also knows about those secret poker games that are funding his campaign. Yes, he does. Watkins also tells him, you have forgotten where you've come from, and that you don't really care about, this Black community, right? You're just trying to win votes. He talks about Marcus Garvey posters. It's like the kind of Pan-African look or Pan-African flag.
Yeah, very good.
Black pride. And Watkins says, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit this election out. He leaves. Parker comes in, says, what happened? And he says, we don't need him. Parker starts running after Watkins and trying to get him back. But it is no hope.
Mm-hmm.
He is out of there. And we see that Hoskins has noticed this as well, which is an important point for later.
Right.
I admit I've made some mistakes. Burrell being one of the biggest. He's got a job for about 10 more days. After the primary, he's gone. Believe me. And that last stunt, pulling a detective.
What'd you expect?
Well, not that. Hey, I had nothing to do with that nonsense.
Now, that's a straight-up lie. I was at that damn meeting when you told him, slow the case down.
I didn't mean...
Who the hell knows what you mean anymore, Clarence? Look at this. Now, look at it. You gave me your word on this. Your word, Clarence. But here you are, taking it up with Yonetta in her best precincts, and then taking it up with my girl Daniels, where she's running strong.
Oh, Adele, this is the first I've seen this. Come on now, this is probably Yonetta's people pulling this shit.
With a Citizens for Royce authority line? Huh. Look at you, Clarence. Just look at you. You've forgotten your agenda. You've forgotten your base. You think a shave and some Marcus Garvey posters are gonna get you over? You think that's gonna make up for jumping in bed with every damn developer? Shit. You're even on Clay Davis's tit.
Now, don't you go getting all self-righteous with me, Odell. Campaign runs on dollars. You know it.
Whose dollars? Those sons of bitches you got around your card table every month, feeding your kitty? Oh, yeah. I know about that, too. Trouble with you. Fuck you, Clarence. I'm gonna sit what's left of this one out. I'm gonna sit it out.
Sit it out. Primary?
Sit it out.
Odell! Odell! Who the hell do you think you are? Huh? Come November, I'm still gonna be the only game in town. Odell, turn your back on me now. I won't forget.
We can't afford this. We need his organization on Tuesday. Go after him.
Fuck that holier than thou motherfucker.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll just mention. So first of all, I like the little subtle move of Royce offers Watkins his drink.
Yeah.
And Watkins declines. I don't know why I like that, but it's just like I don't want to.
I don't want anything that you're given out right now.
And then the Watkins talking to that, that he gives to Royce.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm putting that right now. I'm telling you right now, that is one of my favorite speeches or monologues, and it's a little bit of a dialogue, but one of my favorites in the entire series.
Yeah, he really lays it out there.
He's like, and his line where he's like, "Oh yeah, oh my god, just so
right.
good." Yeah. So and then he just stops. He's like, "Fuck you, Clint." Oh my god, just so great.
He just
really just nails it. So yeah, and I think that there's something really too, like we've said this a few times, but like if you can't sell the product.
Right.
Just putting lipstick on the pig or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, well, I'll tick it up over here with this person because my product isn't selling anymore. So, and I think that that's sort of the thing that, I just was sort of reminded of, like the epigraph is you're with us. If you're with us, you're with us. And, Royce is clearly saying, no, I'm not with you anymore. And so Delegate Watkins takes that and says, okay, well, I'm not with you either. And so, I kind of like how, that comparison between the two things where Chris and Snoop and Marlo's organization is trying to find people to fold in, and trying to sell it, here's what's in your best interest. And then meanwhile, there's Royce who's like not trying to sell anything. And he's, not trying to keep Watkins with him for any reason other than he was. And so, so Watkins says, well, clearly you're not with me, so I'm out of here. And, so I just like that little kind of comparison. So,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Okay, let's see here. We have Carcetti is doing door-to-door campaigning with Wilson. Vote for me. I can help you with that. Yada yada yada.
Yep.
And Rawls has sought him out. And what does he do? He tells him that he tells him that Watkins and Royce have had a fallout, and he tells him even further, like, I'm disappointed in the mayor. I carried his water because I had to. Says I would love to see some new blood in the city. I want to do something right for this police department. I think you're the person to help that happen. And so he leaves on that note. And I love it. He just says, Wilson says to him, wait till he turns the corner.
Yeah.
And then they get in the car, district office for Watkins, and they head over there. And I love the last line, fuck them red lights, man.
Yeah.
So they are on their way to go get Watkins support,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is exactly what I was hoping would happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Good. Yeah, it's a great overall scene. Not much
Yes.
more to it than that.
Yes. Okay. So Carcetti then does find Watkins at his office, and he does just this great job of laying it out for him. It's just like, I need you, but I don't need you just now. Like, I'm going to need you now, and I'm going to need you after the election. Not like Royce. Royce just needs right now. He's not going to care about what you have to say once he's elected. Tells him that, if you support me, you will have a voice in my administration. I will take on the candidates on my ticket that you want. If you want me to stay away from particular districts, I'll stay away from particular districts. Like, he is really upfront and willing to negotiate. And he does tell him too, like, I need you after the election, because when it comes down to it, even if I win, I'm a white mayor in a black city.
Yep.
And I'm going to have to, have your voice at the table. I'm going to have to govern by consensus. So, he makes a pretty convincing argument there. And Watkins says, well, last time I saw you were, or Royce was up by 7 points. And Carcetti says, bullshit, within 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so there we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his message is perfectly timed or oriented to contrast with Royce's.
Exactly.
Right. It's like Watkins saying you've forgotten your base and you've forgotten your agenda. And here Carcetti comes to say, like, I have an agenda, but it's only going to work if you are helping to contribute. And
right.
It's like, well, that's exactly what Watkins has been missing from the Royce administration for a little while.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like it's beautiful how it all kind of ties together. So.
Yes. Smart. It's great.
Yep.
I love it. Okay. And I'm just liking Carcetti more and more. Look at me. Look at me. Okay, let's go to Marimow. Marimow's busts go bust. Okay. Marimow, oh God, I hate him so much.
Oh, yeah.
He meets with Perlman and Daniels at the Western District Precinct. He's handing out 13 warrants at 6 locations. He doesn't have enough people because basically he's an ass. Nobody wants to work with him. So Daniels gives him, he says, I'll give you my DEU, my flex, my op squads. Perlman tells Marimow, you are wasting this wiretap on street level arrests. Daniels is pretty skeptical that they're going to get Marlo or any of the lieutenants, but Marimow says, I've kicked down doors and surprised bigger players than him. Perlman says, well, I'm not going to litigate a wiretap for street rips. Marimow tries to say, well, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's your problem. She says, oh, no, it's not. And that's it.
Yep.
They're going to move on to this.
Yeah. So if there's one thing that kind of sticks with me a little bit is Daniels ranks Marimow. So
good point.
Why is he allowing his people to be used in a way that he knows is going to be unsuccessful?
Doesn't make sense. I don't know.
That part just kind of bugs me a little bit. But
Agreed.
On the other hand, I guess if it had been the other way around, when he was lieutenant of major crimes, he'd be like, why is this guy fucking me? Like,
right.
Because he would have gotten the same resistance. So he'd just
right.
say, okay,
right.
Let's, if you want to do this, then, you're the one responsible ultimately. So,
yeah, and he probably knows how Marimow got in there. And,
right. Plus that, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, and he probably also saw it like this was going to, this thing is going to, he's going to fail pretty much regardless. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, Marimow briefs his own men along with the guys that Daniels has given up from the Western. Marimow tells him that they are anticipating dope, cash, or guns at all these raid sites. They're prime locations for high-level violators. He's like super commando about the whole thing. We're going to go on my, whatever. And he asks if there's questions. One guy raises his hand. He says, okay, we're going to go with the rec room. Doesn't answer it. And after the briefing, Carver talks to Herc. And he's kind of like, what is the street sweeps on Marlo's crew make any sense? And Herc believes what he has always believed, that they are, drug dealers are dumb and that they're easy to deal with. Carver says, hey, what are you doing for the mayor? You're staying close to him because basically he's your meal ticket, right? And says something about gold braids. I guess that's something about rank.
Yeah, it would be a major, I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Perlman, who is discussing her career with Daniels now that Marimow's in charge of major crimes and the subpoenas have been issued against Royce's backers. She's really got nothing else going on. She says the drug thing rates less and less, the drug war, really. And she's thinking, if Demper gets elected again, then she can maybe see if she can get something from him or get reassigned.
Right.
So it's kind of sad to see her work dry up like this.
Yeah.
Like the importance of her work dry up.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like if there's a parallel there as well with Daniels, like because he was in the basement, right? I mean, ultimately, Perlman had a steady stream of cases and was kind of seemed like consistently working with major crimes and so on and so forth, and and Daniels was trying to figure out a way out, and I wonder if that's part of the equation here for her. She must be thinking like I might have to go do something else,
right?
And so just as he did. So now for her, it probably means going into private practice or switching sides to criminal defense or something like that. But it feels a little sad for her.
It does,
as you said, like, they're just not having a good source for cases really affects your ability to prosecute.
Yeah,
cases.
exactly.
Okay.
Otherwise. All right. Well, Marimow's raids are completely ineffectual. There's nothing anywhere, any of the places. Herc, I love that he questions. He's like, when did we get this information? They moved the stash houses, right? Like the way that he asks Marimow that is almost feels a little subordinate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? And, it's all because Marimow believed the same thing. Drug dealers are stupid. He says, they must have been tipped. There must have been some kind of leak. They knew about this. And so he, he continues to divert the blame from himself onto and then moves the next steps onto Herc, when they find out where Marlo holds court in the same open area. He says to Herc, like, what can we do with this, right? And this is where Herc comes up with an idea to actually conceal some surveillance cameras at this meeting place. We saw this meeting place. I actually haven't really gotten to Marlo. I will next, but they talk a little bit about why Marlo has picked that location. Carver tells them that he has guys all around, and it's so that he can't be listened to. But they're going to try to do that. So they're going to set up a camera, and if they can get somebody to actually read lips or whatever, then that should be successful. So they do that. It is Herc, Dozerman, Sidner that are setting it up. And they're doing this really quick with a van, go very, very quickly, but it doesn't matter because they are seen by one of Marlo's guys.
Yep.
Is it Monk?
No. I don't think the person has a name.
Okay. So somebody sees them and whoa. Did you hear that? Was that thunder?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I feel like
it's
the last 2 days is on there. Last 2 recordings that we've done, the weather has been bananas bad.
A little bit.
It's raining like crazy. It's windy like crazy. Sorry. It's fall. It's spooky. Sometimes I get out here and I'm like, what's that? Okay. So, yes. Okay.
So they were talking about the camera?
The guy found it. Okay. Or the guy saw them doing that. They do get some footage of Marlo. They think maybe there's enough there to build a case if they can figure out somebody who can read the lips to see what Marlo is saying. Sidner's like, is that even legal? Herc says, hey, don't get all Freeman on me. Dismisses that concern. And then Herc looks at his watch. Oh, crap. He's got to go. Poor Sidner's like, I've been here all night, man. When am I going to get some relief? But instead, Herc has an appointment. He is going to make some campaign calls for Royce which are hilarious. I don't know if you want to still say anything about the whole how the raids went before we talk about that, though.
So the thing that's kind of sticking with me a little bit is, so Herc talks to Carver.
Yes.
And says, you're giving these guys too much credit.
Yeah.
So first of all, if there's one thing that just bugs me a little bit, is that I'm sure that there are people that just have no capacity to learn or change their perspective.
Yeah.
But Herc has seen how crafty people are.
I agree.
And yet he's like, no, this guy
I agree.
just doesn't, he's like the guys I've always known. Now, so that part kind of just bugged me a little bit. Like,
I agree.
Just,
I mean,
come
he
on.
was there for the whole thing with like how they were sending messages by reversing the numbers that Prez had to find out. Like, clearly they are not idiots.
Right.
But I don't know how he can still suffer under that presumption.
Right. And then he goes and they're in the raid houses. And I totally hear your point. I think you were 100% on it, which is like, if my lieutenant said, they must have been tipped, I would not say a single word. You could
Like,
put you'd just be like,
okay, guess they were.
Yeah, maybe. You want me to find out who it was? I'll ask around. And then, so there he's like trying to say, well, they move things around. So he's demonstrating that he understands that they're at least aware and they're doing some kind of tactics to avoid getting caught. Right. And then he goes right back to the camera and he's like, well, clearly, I'm smarter than these guys, and you're like, what the hell? Like, I felt like it was like he went from being really arrogant, these guys are dumb, to no, these guys are actually like somewhat smart, and to back to no, these guys are dumb. And of course, like his whole, like, what's the word? Like mimicking what he was hearing or what he was seeing them say. I just thought, God, okay, now I just can't wait for the shooter, for the,
I know.
Whatever, something to happen to you. So anyway,
you deserve it.
Yeah. So that part, but Herc, of course, is hilarious, and like, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yes.
So like, yeah, the character itself is just he's funny, but if you're kind of like zoom out a little bit, it feels like a little bit of like jumping from one foot to the next.
Yes.
So, but otherwise, I don't have a ton of problems with it. It's just like one of those things.
Okay, well, I do love talking about how funny Herc is, his phone call that he is making on behalf of the mayor is hilarious. When he's talking to someone, he's like, you can tell I'm white. I can tell by your voice you're black. Would I be voting for a black man if there was a white man in the race, if he wasn't, amazing?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. So it is hilarious to me that he has taken what Carver said to heart and goes to actually stump for the mayor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, that's it for that, though.
The part that lands with me most is like, I admit that's another good point.
Yes.
Like, he's got all his talking points. He knows how to essentially absorb the volleys that come back to him and keep the discussion moving forward. So in that regard, it's really, really good job. You missed your calling there, Herc.
So funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to Kima caught in the middle.
Okay.
To spend some time with homicide. Let's start with Bunk and Freeman before we get to Kima. They are in a coroner's office, I guess. They're asking about floaters and decomps and whether any were found in Baltimore. They're looking for bodies that might be Lex or any others possibly tied to Marlo, since, again, they don't know where he's putting the bodies. And of course, everything that they're asking for here is like extremely vague and unhelpful to the coroner. The coroner's like, don't you guys have enough work already? Apparently they don't, because next up they are checking out Lincoln Park. I thought it was Lincoln, and then I said it's Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And Freeman recalls to Bunk that as a cadet, he was there on a cadaver search. He was warned to only take an interest in bodies that match the description, or else they would be there all day. That's how many bodies would be in Lincoln Park. But not anymore. There are no bodies they can find. Otherwise, they're really deep in the woods. And it's the same for the sewers. They try the sewers to no avail. There are no bodies there either. So they go back to the office, and Bunk convinces Freeman, look, are you ready to actually investigate real murder now? And Freeman relents.
Yep. Yeah. So Lincoln Park.
Yep.
Lincoln. is about
okay.
5 miles west of Druid Hill Park, which is where the basketball game was.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not way out in the woods. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in Baltimore. So.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's a heavily wooded park.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, we've got those around here as well. So
We
it's
do.
really,
No bodies in any of them that I know of.
But yes, exactly. So, or certainly, not that many that we're
Not
having
that many.
that we have a problem of like.
Right.
Dragging a bunch of them. Yeah, the weaving together of all these different scenes I really like,
Yeah.
and Bunk just kind of like because we went by the sewers
Yes,
already, right? And talked
exactly,
about that, and
yes.
Bunk just dancing like
Yes.
it is curious like that particular thing where he is just happy to be along for the ride. It seems like
He is.
probably knowing that
They're not
Freeman
going
wasn't going to find anything,
I
so he's just like,
agree.
I'm just going to let you do what you do, and
Yes.
and then come back and let's
Yes.
work
He's
real
reveling
cases.
in it a little bit.
Yeah. So I think that there's something. I don't know. This is where it's curious about Freeman's perspective and Bunk's perspective, because Bunk is just about the case that he's got,
right?
And Freeman's trying to look at a bigger picture here. So it's a
Yes.
curious kind of different. That the two guys working together have these
Very different approaches,
similar,
yeah.
similar principles guiding them, but very different approaches to it.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at Homicide, we have Norris, Holly Greggs, and another guy that I'm not sure who that was.
No, I don't know.
Don't know who it was.
No.
Okay. They are watching Gray talk about the witness murder case on TV. This is, what Parker was turning the television on for Royce to see. And, we hear, a highly decorated veteran with 15 years of experience. Holly says, or Norris says, that's me.
Yep.
Replaced by a rookie yet to handle a single investigation. Oh, that would be you, Greggs. And Greg says, the fuck I ever do to him.
That's a great
Holly
line.
laughs pretty hard about that.
Yep.
Later on, Greggs is called in to meet with Landsman. He offers a chicken doohickey or a curly fry if she'd like one. He is always eating or looking at pornography. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Landsman says, okay, well, Norris is back on the Braddock witness case. And guess what? You were always working on this together. It never was just you. She's upset. She says, fuck you, fat man. Super mean. She feels like she is being humiliated a second time here. Landsman gets up, he closes the door, and he says, look, this is Homicide. Okay, the higher ups, they know our names here. And he, kind of points out the political side of what it is that they do. He makes his case. I want to be standing when all of this goes down. And so I play it the way that I'm supposed to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And, she kind of hears that reluctantly, I think. And up until the point that Landsman says, and you're going to go to a press conference about the investigation. She's like, what? So that is the next thing. They have to be there at a press conference.
Sergeant, you were looking for me?
I was, yeah. Curly fry. Chicken doohickey. Sit down. Norris is back on the Braddock case. It's by order of the deputy ops. In fact, we're going to go with a story that says he was never off the case, that you and he are partnered, a task force of two working it together.
Fuck you, fat man.
Not original, but succinct. I like your approach.
Y'all humiliate me once by dropping me into this thing, and now you're gonna shame me again by bringing Norris back.
This is homicide, detective. This is not some boiler room unit where no one pays attention to whatever the fuck it is you call police work. The bosses? They know our names up here. Now, I didn't like it when they came to me and told me to dump Norris, but dump him I did. And it's not like I want to carry water for them now that they're pretending they never told me to do any such thing. But carry the water I will. And in the end, when everyone else in this unit is buried and beshitted, this detective sergeant will still be standing. So, get the story straight. Norris was always the primary, and you are now assisting on an investigation which is progressing even as we speak.
Does the colonel know about this?
He's in the hospital. Chemo didn't work. Press conference is upstairs in half an hour, so don't be late.
Press conference?
Mm-hmm.
And, there's just one more thing that's with Crutchfield and Holly. So do you want to say anything about this?
Yeah, just a little bit. So first of all, as you say, he's got Pepto-Bismol just right on his desk.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Are you serious?
That part, just like, man,
It's
if you've got antacid or whatever that is, like on your desk, maybe you should double check what
Yeah.
rethink what you're eating.
Maybe you
So
should
that
be
part.
eating all that stuff.
The "fuck you, fat man" is what Bird said when they
Yeah.
brought him in.
You're
Changed
right.
it to the interrogation room, so that's why he said not very original, which I like that. I like that line.
Oh, that's right.
And then just I think there's something excuse me, really like I'm kind of connecting all the way back. I think there's probably more to it, but I'll just say here, Landsman is trying to show that he's still with the brass, right? Like that's the you with us, right? And so he is like, I don't agree with this at all, but I'm going to do it because if I'm with you, then I'm with you. Now, if you all go down together or whatever, but and I think the same thing with Rawls and Royce, right? And Rawls and Carcetti, like they're just creating all these alliances. It's all that's the name of the episode. Okay. Anyway, they're creating all these alliances, but of course, that's what you're with us. So so that's what Landsman is demonstrating. Of course, that's the funny thing is that Landsman seems like he's just looking at pornography and doing who knows what, but he has a very sharp
he's
political.
savvy.
He's very savvy. Yeah, exactly. So you see all that. So it's curious to me about Kima's perspective. I don't really. It's curious to try to figure out why was she shamed by being given the case to begin with, right? You know what I mean? And then and then she didn't have a chance to solve it.
Yeah.
Which now that part I could feel like okay, that feels less. But I mean, who the hell's going to care? I guess I don't know.
The only thing I can think is it was on the tail of all the hazing that they were putting her through. So it probably just felt like one more pylon at that point.
Right.
Even though that really was not their fault.
Right.
That she had to get that.
Yeah, true. And actually as I say that now I kind of figure for her emotionally anyway, she had been on the job for however many days. And then, by the way, did we just blow past Valchik saying abroad no less?
Yes, I pointed that out. No.
Okay, no, yeah,
I did. Yeah,
but
abroad no less.
I feel like I needed to hit that one more time. Holy crap, abroad, that's a problem. But anyway, fuck you, Valchik. All right, but in any case, but to go back, emotionally, she must have been like, what the hell? Now she's got all this pressure on her, and then it just gets taken away,
right?
But that doesn't change the fact that she felt it for however long she felt it for.
Yes.
So yeah,
I think that's right on.
Yeah. On the other hand, I feel like she does create a bond with the other homicide detectives when she's like, what the fuck did I ever do to him? So
I know.
At least there's a little bit of a silver
liked
lining
that.
there. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But and I think that covers. Oh, and then just last thing. I don't know why I picked this up, but this is just a weird editing thing. But, talking about Jay Landsman eating, he takes a bite of his sandwich, which is another huge roast beef sandwich again. Kima walks out the door and he immediately takes another bite, which there's no way that he would have been done with that first.
Right, that's a good point.
Anyway, so
okay.
Just a little
continuity.
Little editing thing there that I noticed this time. So
okay. Let me see here. I was going to go to Crutchfield and Holly, but I forgot. I need to talk about Marlo first before I can mention that because of what they end up doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Marlo joining the co-op. All right, Marlo and Chris are talking about Omar robbing Marlo at the card game in the previous episode. Marlo says, I should have listened to you. I should have had protection. But now they need to figure out how to deal with Omar. Marlo wants to go straight after him. He wants to put a bounty on him. But Chris points out that did not work for the Barksdales. Omar always has an ear to the ground. He will know. And he will be in the wind. So he says, instead, let's just sit on it. And we don't say a word until we know what we're going to do. Not a mumbling word.
Yeah.
He says. So that is, I don't know what they have in store for Omar, but I am worried for him. I am worried. Because Omar's getting kind of played here between Marlo and Prop Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And he is clueless right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look, what?
You want me to say you right? You right. Should have had protection at the card game.
Done is done. Now we need to decide what we're gonna do about Omar.
And make the price right. Somebody gonna get a whiff of that bushwhacker's ass. Then you take it from there.
Think so? I ain't saying Omar can't be got. Any nigga can be got. But once we put word to ear, and he learned that we pricing on his head, he's gonna be trying us like we trying him.
You saying I should let it slide?
Nah, we get at him another way. Get at him without no bounties, no bullshit like that. I mean, Barksdale turned this town upside down hunting him. You know, he ended up looking was weak.
I ain't no Barksdale.
I'm just saying, talk is cheap. We sit on it, we're gonna figure out a way to get that faggot. But till then, we don't say a mumbling word.
Continue?
I feel like Bubbles also used the phrase mumbling word, which I thought was kind of interesting. So,
You know, occasionally I think the writers maybe don't realize that they've used it in more than one place. There's like been a couple other things like pull your coat, which has been used by people in different, like once it was used in Homicide and another time in another place where I was like, that's not a very common phrase for it to show up in both areas like that. So I think sometimes it's just like a writer's little slip or something.
Interesting. Okay.
That's my guess.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah.
I looked at it probably more charitably of like, because the pull your coat, two that I know for sure was Orlando says it to D'Angelo when they want to talk about going on the separate package, and then Stringer says it about pulling Krajic's coat.
Bunk says it to McNulty.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then right, that's right. Okay,
yeah, so it's like a little too much in too many different areas that it makes sense.
Yeah, so the charitable view is that there's a through line through everything, and so they reuse these same phrases to kind of reinforce that. But I think you're probably right. I think it's more like I just forgot.
Oh, I kind of forgot that we used that phrase
Yeah,
already.
It's like just spin the wheel and
yes.
here's the phrase I'm going to use.
That's my guess.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah. So no, I think that's probably right.
Okay. Chris and Marlo are sitting out in that kind of open area, and Chris tells him that Slim Charles approached him about organizing another meeting with Prop Joe, and that also Prop Joe knew that the card game was going to get robbed. So Marlo says, let's set it up. Oldface Andre comes in to talk to Marlo. He does ask, like, why do you meet out here, out in the sunshine or in the rain? And, Marlo explains that he his reasons for being out in the open, which we know that way he doesn't get picked up on the recording. Marlo tells him that Omar is going to rob his store again, and that he is going to tell the police exactly that Omar robbed his store. Andre worries that Omar will get out on bail since it's just robbery and then seek revenge on him, but Marlo tells him, make it no bail, which I didn't really get what that meant until we got a little further along in this episode.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You always be back here.
Quiet, and I can see what comes.
But you out in the weather and shit.
Don't like to speak in no rooms.
Yeah.
Yo, you ain't staying long.
So almost got that for you. I just need a couple of days more.
Oh, you could keep my money for now, but I got something needs doing.
Anything, Marlo, your call.
Omar gonna come in your store, stick it up, rob you. You're gonna call the police, make a report. Feel me?
Yeah, that'll work, but when he get out, he's coming right at me. I ain't scared of nothing. I'm just saying,
He ain't gonna get out.
Man, make bail on robbery.
Make it no bail.
Yeah, so just a couple things here. So first of all, one thing that I noticed from scenes in all different groups and whatever up to this point was people would gesture to a chair for somebody to sit down.
Yeah.
Would invite them to sit down.
Okay.
And here Andre just sits down without being invited, which I just like, right?
Yes.
Like so I just feel like I don't think I've ever had the occasion At least not recently, where someone would invite me to sit down, right? I kind of assume that I'm
Sure.
I'm going to my boss's office
Right.
for a meeting, so I'm
Yeah,
going to sit
I'm
down.
gonna sit down.
You
Have
know,
to stand
now
this whole
I
time.
probably should wait until he sits down, but nevertheless. But I just like that, and then so like Andre starts to sit down and says, you're not staying long, and then he does this little wave to tell him to go away. It's
Right.
like, and you just think like, oh man, yeah, you shouldn't have sat down. So there's that, and then for some reason. Chris like doing that grin after
Yes.
Marlo says make it no bail, like
Oh, I know.
just so sickening.
Yes.
Like, all I have to do is murder somebody.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
See, I
Like-
didn't even get that at that point.
Oh,
Like,
no,
I
you
really
wouldn't.
did
Yeah, you
not
wouldn't.
even get like how Omar they were setting up Omar to
Yeah.
rob the store again. Like
Yeah.
I totally did not understand this conversation until what happens.
Oh yeah,
happens.
sure. Yeah, of course. It wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, that's what and it's just like the casual nature of like
Yes.
Marlo saying make it no bail, so just murder
Yes.
somebody, and then Chris just being like, yeah, okay, cool, and he's
Yeah.
smiling. It's
Smiling.
you
The
know.
smiling.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about like in the first episode of the season where it felt like he was like a little bit of like compassionate with the guy that he was about to
Mhm.
murder. This time it's just like
No.
just pure evil.
No.
Just like, oh, okay, that's no problem. So I hate this. That's why this episode
This
is so
episode is
brutal.
rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Chris later comes up to Old Face Andre's store, and there's a delivery woman out front. She's loading up a hand truck. He helps her get it through the door. She says, "Thank you, baby." And he comes a little bit into the store after her and turns and smiles a beautiful smile at her,
Mhm.
and then shoots her right in the chest, killing her.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just that kind of casual, violent way about him.
Yep.
It is so weird.
Mhm.
He then pistol whips Andre a couple of times, and before he leaves the store, he reminds him to say Omar.
Yep.
And he later reports to Marlo that the setup robbery, I should say, was a success. Terrible.
Again, all good. That's what he says. All good.
All
Jesus
good.
Christ.
Yep.
Yeah.
Marlo tells him about the surveillance camera that he's just found out about, and then asks him to take a meeting with Prop Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Or asks him to take him to a meeting with Prop Joe.
Yep. Yeah, the one thing I don't know that I picked up on this the last time, the first couple of times was, but you can see Marlo talking to the guy who saw the camera.
Yeah.
Right before. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. At the meeting, Joe tells Marlo that he's got a whole lot of sources. He's got his own network that gives him information. He knows what's going on, not only on the street, but also with the cops, with the DA's office. And so he shows Marlo, hey, look at this. I've got warrants for this guy, Charlie, a drug head guy, kingpin like him. And yeah, is he going to help him? Well, he might, but Charlie's not part of the co-op,
Mhm.
So maybe I do. Maybe I do it for a fee. And Marlo then says, you know anything about me being on tape? And Joe says, I never had a reason to look into it, actually. So Marlo tells him, now you do.
Yep.
And they are going to be working together. Marlo
Mhm.
is officially a part of the co-op now.
Yep.
So he wants information about who's investigating him. And I guess what he needs to provide is the muscle to get the East Side guy out of there.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
some of the muscle
Yep.
anyways.
Yeah, and I mean it's really just like now he's just teamed up with everybody
Yeah.
else, and then now they have a shared responsibilities.
I do not know how this is going to go. This Prop Joe setting up this Omar Marlo situation like this. Oh, I am telling you. I like Prop Joe. Clearly, he is a smart man.
Mhm.
Have you ever known me not to be a smart man? No, but this does not feel smart to me.
To set up Omar and Marlo.
To
together?
try to play both sides like this, I feel like it's going to be bad for him
Okay.
at some point.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm concerned.
Okay.
I'm concerned for him. I will say that.
All right.
Okay, my last thing is shame, Sherrod.
Do
So you let me know when you're ready.
You don't need to go. You
Oh,
skip
yeah.
past.
Okay, sorry. Now I can go back to Crutchfield
I
and
was-
Holly.
yeah.
Thank
Mhm.
you for the reminder.
Sure.
Yes, because they are the ones who get the case of the delivery woman being murdered in Andre's store in the robbery. They have Andre in the unit, and they're interviewing him, and they ask him who did it, and he takes a moment, and then he points to the picture on the paper that is Omar's picture.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. And I like that it was wordless.
Yeah.
Like, there's something nice about that. I just, The Wire's so great about stuff like that.
They are.
If you don't need words, then why use them?
Why?
So, yeah. Yep.
No. So yeah. Okay. Now I can move on to Sherrod.
Yep.
Oh, Sherrod. Sherrod. What am I going to do with you? What is Bubbles going to do with you? That's what I'm worried about here. Sherrod's selling drugs on the corner. What the hell? He's telling the guy that he needs to be paid the whole amount now. He cannot be paid $4 less. Bubbles spots him, starts yelling out, Sherrod. You ask him, why aren't you in school? You're supposed to be in school right now. And Sherrod tries to lie about it being a half day, but Bubbles, he knows all those lies. He's told them, I know these stories already. I've done this. So he's kind of lecturing Sherrod, but the guy that Sherrod was working with there starts getting mad at Bubbles for interrupting, and then attacks Bubbles and wants to know where his stuff is, where his money is. He knocks him down. He hits him, kicks him. And Sherrod does jack shit.
Yeah.
Sherrod does nothing while this is happening. Everybody else is watching around. Sherrod does nothing. Finally, he gives it up. He says it's in my, my sock or whatever. And the guy gets the money and leaves.
Yeah.
I hated that scene so much.
Oh, yeah.
Hated it. It makes me so mad.
Yeah, I mean,
so disappointed.
Again,
I guess is the thing of everything that Bubbles has done for Sherrod so far, and Sherrod can't even help him out when he's being beat down.
Yeah, all he does is get his shoe at the end of the
just picks up his shoe that fell off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sherrod later returns to their home, whatever this vacant space is that they occupy, with all their candles and mattresses on the floor. And Bubbles is in bed, and he is looking toward the wall. So he's not even looking at Sherrod as he comes in. And, he's like, why do you feel like you still need to work those corners? You don't need to do that. Sherrod says, I need to learn some shit on my own. He tells him, I didn't even know the man that was beating you up. He's nothing to me. But Bubbles is like, this is like the dumbest thing to say. Bubbles is like, you didn't do anything to help me. Would I have done that to you? Would I have left you like that?
Right.
And Sherrod has nothing to say to that. Bubbles is trying to just convince him they are going to use you up. That's what's going to happen. They're going to use you up and spit you out. Bubbles says, you can stay for a night, but unless you go back to school, you need to leave here. And that's it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, I mean,
Sherrod, you break my heart.
I
guess he doesn't know any better because he has no connections. He has no body that's ever been special to him or that he's been special to. So he doesn't know what you're supposed to do. It's just crazy.
Or you're just going to be exploited, just like where we see otherwise. You're going to take $5 to stand outside the bathroom, or you're going to take money from these two psychopaths, whatever, and you're just going to you see an easier path than the one that's ahead of you, and you don't have the tools to navigate the harder path, and you're just going to go, but just to, so this is the essentially the destruction of an alliance here is essentially, or we're seeing the fraying, but Bubbles or Andre Royal has just these two scenes.
Yeah.
And yet just they're so killer. Like his whole little speech about he says something like same kind of nothing when he's like, what would I have done that for you? And same kind of nothing. And I was like, wait, you would do something if Sherrod was being beaten on. And I think I didn't realize it till you said it, but Sherrod saying the man wasn't nothing to me. And then Bubbles says, well, you didn't do anything for me, so I'm the same kind of nothing, I guess. I think that's how I read it now, or how my read on it now. And it's just, and then just that's how the corners be. It's like you're just kind of, you're every man for himself kind of thing. And, it's just, you just feel terrible for Bubbles. Like he's just been trying to be, bring these people along, and he just, he's getting nothing in return.
I just hate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why this episode sucks.
Yes,
I mean,
agreed.
except for the fact that it's like fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, other than that,
I was just talking about like, oh, the acting is so good. God, this episode's terrible.
so good,
Yeah.
so terrible.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yep, pretty much.
Damn it.
That's it.
Okay.
Right?
Yep,
Is that all you got?
that's the end.
Okay. All right.
my friend.
So before we get into some of our categories, I did have a few things I wanted to mention that I forgot. So last episode, they talked about social promotion for Sherrod, speaking
Yes.
of, which is what Bodhi said to Naaman if it weren't for social
promotion. Yeah, I remember
you'd still
that.
be in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I was annoyed that I missed that.
Yeah.
St. Jude is the patron saint of lost causes because it sounds like he is routinely confused with Judas Iscariot, the apostle that betrayed Jesus. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. And then finally, according to the internet, it is legal for the police to record in public spaces, provided that, so streets, sidewalks, and parks without needing consent. So that was legal what Herc was doing.
Okay.
Not especially smart, but legal. So,
right, okay.
Okay, so that gets us through that. So then I'll get into our categories. So we have music. So first song is Another One Bites the Dust by Clint Eastwood and General Saint, not Queen. This is when Carcetti is campaigning on the streets and buying the honeysuckle incense cones.
It's 25 incense cones.
Okay. This one is Yo, Excuse Me, Miss by Chris Brown, where Prez talks to Michael at lunch. I think that's what's playing while they're there. Oh, and that reminds me, one other thing. So Prez says, I'm not your yo.
I'm not your yo.
Naaman.
Yep.
And I noted that from when you mentioned that, in the very first season, I was like, Ellie was on it then, but I couldn't say anything for 3 seasons.
That's so awesome.
So good job there. So you were on it from the very beginning, which I just liked.
So cool. Wish we could use that here.
Yeah, right.
Because it's gender neutral.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, hey, you could try to bring it back.
I guess I could.
Yeah, bring it back, yo.
Sure.
Okay, no, that's now, this one is dark. A Woman's Worth by Alicia Keys is playing at Andre's store when the delivery woman is shot. Brutal.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll move past that. Backstabbers by the OJs is the song that Bunk is dancing to when they are coming out of the sewers. And then New Millennium is in Chris's truck radio when Chris and Marlo talk about after they find the camera.
Oh,
so New Millennium, I guess, is just like that. Now they have to come up with a new strategy for dealing with this.
New technology to deal with.
Yeah, so that's that. All right, killer cameos. There's a lot. There are a lot of people, but the ones that stood out. Do you have anybody in particular?
I mean, I don't know if Zenobia's coming back. I like Zenobia.
She is. So,
darn.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the delivery woman does a nice one. Thank you, baby.
Yep.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I just had the guy in the morgue. I thought was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
But I also had the delivery lady, so we'll give it to her. Yeah.
All right.
And she gives a really, her smile to Chris is beautiful.
I know.
So just
yes.
like that. Okay. And then finally, that gets us to Mr. Nugget's life lessons. So anything that you have anything for today?
I do not. I'll just make commentary on yours.
Okay, perfect. So the first one is relatively small, but I mentioned with Prez with the boys, be a yes and person.
Yeah.
Right? If someone comes to you, hey, I got this idea, just no matter how stupid you think it is, to be like, well, what, oh, that's interesting.
Sure.
Maybe we try it this way. Or like, what do you think
Tell
about
me
this?
more about that.
Don't just shoot stuff down.
I agree.
That's a dick move.
I agree.
Yeah. And, you're in a critique group, to make your stories better.
Yes.
And I'm assuming it's always like a redirect. It's never like that storyline is dumb.
Nope.
Right? It's
never anything like that.
So and people will come to you if you even though Prez knows and the kids know that it's not NBA or NFL, he's still playing in their world and they're going to go rely on him more often. So I just feel like that. That's a good one. Your word is your bond. That is what Weebay says to Naaman.
Yes.
Just a good rule to live by.
Word is bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of a passage in the Bible for some reason. Like Jesus says, I'm just going to share this because for the longest time, Jesus says, don't swear. And I was like, oh, don't use curse words. No. Don't like swear to God. You don't have to say like, I did this, I swear to God. No, you don't have to do that. Your word is your bond. If you say it and then make sure it's true. Like, and that's when, or you say, I'm going to do this and stick with it. So, because your word is like, how those alliances is how you build those alliances is by people can trust your word. And so just feel like that's a good lesson, even though it's coming from a psychopath. So, got that?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. When Word is Bond first came out, it was kind of like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I kept always thinking it was Word is Bomb, like BOMB.
Oh.
Until I realized it was Word is Bond.
Okay. I don't think I'd ever heard that like in that context.
Or
said that
then
way.
in my circles, like where I grew up and went to school, I would hear that a lot. Word is Bond.
Wait a minute.
I don't know if it's in a rap song or what, but I feel like I would hear that all the time in the 90s.
Oh my God.
Like around hip hop stuff.
That's so okay. Sorry, I'm going to completely tangent here.
Okay.
But there's a episode of, I'm trying to remember if it's season 1 or season 2, episode of 30 Rock.
Okay.
Where it's hilarious. Tracy Jordan comes in, talks to his 2 like entourage members, and he says, "Hey, I got great news. You know that Nigerian prince? He's free. I just got the check today." And one of the guys says, "Say word." And Tracy says, "Word is Bond." And I always thought he said, "Word is bomb."
No,
so I thought the
word
same
is
thing
Bond,
you
yeah.
said. So, okay, so that's great stuff. Okay, so thank you for dusting off and polishing that memory. For me,
you
so
are
anyway, good
welcome.
stuff. So anyway, keep your word is your bond. Don't if you have to do more, if you have to like emphasize, that generally means that you are not using your word as your bond. So
right.
Okay, and then finally, Marimow, just learning from history.
Marimow.
If you feel like you have not surveyed the landscape in a while, try to learn from where people have made mistakes and try to bring that into your own experience. If you don't have that, then chances are good you're going to have a blind spot or 2 or 7.
Yeah.
And so, whatever you're going into, it's like, where have people failed here before? Where have I failed here before? And how do I try to avoid that in the future? Marimow just completely fucks up this thing because he just refused to, take into account anything that has happened in the past. He doesn't, he just well, here's how things have worked for me. And I, maybe he got lucky and it worked, but he didn't think at all about how he could fail. And I guess that would be the other thing is always make sure that, we've said this a million times, have people that tell you your shit stinks, but also evaluate how things could possibly fail.
Indeed.
And really interrogate it to make you, because it's not a weakness.
Yeah.
To examine your weaknesses. That's how you strengthen your areas that you have gaps.
Right.
So
I agree.
Anyway.
Have more than one prediction for how things could possibly come out.
Absolutely.
Right? Have another hypothesis.
Yes.
You don't have to have just one.
100%.
If I do this, this might happen. Or
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And rely on people to help you get those other predictions.
Right.
Hey, how is this going to fail?
Right.
Oh, I don't know. And then you ask somebody else, and they might say, "Well, what if this happened?" Basically what Carver was saying to her. So
exactly.
Yeah. So good, excellent point. So thank you thank you for supplementing once again.
Hey,
so.
happy to.
Well, that's all I got for this one.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's it. So let's get into your predictions.
Oh my golly gee willikers. Okay, I think. I think Carcetti's going to start pulling ahead in the campaign now.
Okay.
He's going to start getting more neck and neck with Royce. I think still no Lex.
Okay.
I do think that, well, I kind of want this to happen, but I don't know if it really will happen. I would love for Greggs and Norris to actually make headway on this case together, as a kind of dynamic duo. That would be really cool. Let's see here. I think that Herc's efforts for the video go nowhere, and they have to have a new approach.
Okay.
Let's see here. I think Prez. I think he's going to keep on this trajectory. He's making headway with the kids. He might actually teach them some math.
Okay.
I'm excited for that, if that happens.
Okay, we'll actually teach them math.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really can't tell. I just don't know enough to say like what this thing with Parenti and Colvin is going to look like.
Yeah, you don't really know.
They don't really talk about what this program would entail.
Okay.
So I can't really say anything about that. Gosh, we haven't seen my boy Dennis for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, just one episode.
Yeah. Okay, I don't really have anything for him.
Yeah,
though.
I guess. I mean, the last time was
I feel like there's got to be like a sparring tournament coming up soon, but I don't know.
You know,
they were talking about it. Maybe there's not going to be one.
I am going to let me wave you off that.
Okay.
There is nothing substantive
Okay.
in terms of his boxers.
I love boxing. Okay.
Well, you're okay. So, but there's still stuff with Dennis.
Okay.
But nothing like that goes kind of into the boxing tournament stuff.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler.
No, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
That's fine. It's, I mean, a little bit of a letdown, but okay.
Okay.
I am, let's see, Omar. I feel like Omar. Sometimes I have to ask myself, is this just what you want to happen, Ellie, or is this what you really think will happen? Because I want Omar to find out that he has been implicated in this robbery and hides.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how they would find him anyways. Well, I don't know. Is he very secret about where he's living with Ronaldo? I think he finds out. He's got a lot of sources.
Okay.
He's got his little birds. Yeah, is there anything else that I need to? Oh, I
Okay.
think Sherrod. I think Sherrod doesn't go back to school.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's a lot. Let's see.
Okay.
You were 8. You had 9 last time. 1, 2,
I don't think
3,
it's quite
4,
that many this
5,
time.
6, 7, 8, 9. Again.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
really?
I mean, your Dennis one is like something's going to happen with Dennis, but nothing specifically. So.
Oh, that doesn't count, Chris. I don't know. Can that be
Okay, fine. I don't know.
I just would like to see him again. I don't know that anything happens with him. I don't see anything else for his story right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think here if there's anything.
Oh.
I mean, if you remember the last time. Yeah, I mean, I guess the last time he was looking for Spider and then he boxed with Michael in the ring. But I guess that was basically it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, and he was doing the roundup van.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess you're right. There's probably not much. There aren't a lot of breadcrumbs there for you.
Not
to
yet.
pick up on, so, okay.
Okay.
Well, still, that's a terrific amount. 8.
Okay,
8 is
let's
still quite a
see
lot. So,
how it goes.
yeah. And, I just don't. No one has said how good a job I do in not giving away whether any of these are correct or not. I just feel like I'm just going to toot my own horn, I'm writing these down and like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Anyway, that is enough of me tooting my own horn. So thank you, Ellie, as always, for a terrific episode.
My pleasure.
We will be back next week to cover season 4, episode 6, Margin of Error, if that gives you any kind of indication of your first prediction about Ellie and Royce. So.
Okay.
Anyway, but otherwise, Ellie, thank you as always for a terrific episode.
Thank you, Chris.
And we will see you all next week.
Okay, bye, everybody.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time.
Fuck them red lights, man.